Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach.
Okay, so this page, which is a very good and consolidated information you get it about the variables. Okay, so the first question is in Terraform, how can you declare the variable and what are the types of variable? So now when it comes for types of variable, you can see that we have a string type, number type, boolean type, list, map, object, and tuple. Now, if you remember that these same types we have in the Golang also, and in fact Python also it's matching actually. Okay, so these are the type of variables. Now I want to show you one image which will give you the lots of knowledge actually, and this image is here. Okay, so let's focus on image because lots of information in one go only will get it. So when it comes for variables, I showed you the types of variable, but the question you will ask, okay, in Terraform, which are the places we can declare the variable? Okay, so you can declare the variable in the Terraform files, the one which we discussed. But you know what? You can also set the variable for Terraform code in the environment variable also. So the question is, how come Terraform will read the environment variable and understand it is for their use, not for everything else? So any variable which you are setting up in the environment variable, you have to prefix with tf underscore var. Yes, in capital. If you prefix with this one in the environment variable, those variables will be read by Terraform and use it for their own work. But not only this, you can also declare the variables in the command line. When you run the Terraform plan, Terraform apply, Terraform destroy, there also you can run the variables. So you see that command line as after that command, you can post hyphen var is equal to variable and value. So these are the three commonly places where you can declare the variable. One of the places where we use the variables a lot, that's called Terraform file, .tf file. Are you okay with this, all of you? All of you?
Yes.
Okay. So now the next question is why? What are these four? These three locations. So guys, these three locations is for declaring the values. Yeah. So Terraform has given a separate file for values. Though you can declare the variable in any of these places, but these places you can only declare the values. So one of the most popular places which we used is this file. In the same project, you specify Terraform.tf and this is for values. Okay, remember that, not for variables. So either if you declare the variables here and values here, or variables and values here only, both are okay. Okay. Now here there's one more option which we have interactive. What does that mean? So here, when you declare the variables and you did not declare the values, then Terraform, while running it, it will prompt you, hey, you forgot to provide the values for certain variables, provide it. So that's called interactive. And module is the last topic which I have not discussed, so I'll just skip it. So now if you ask me, what are the types of variable you can declare? So these are the types of variable you can declare: string, number, boolean, list, map, very popular. And where and all you can declare the variable Terraform file, environment, and command. And we have a one this file where it's for values. If you do not pass the values, automatically Terraform will ask you. Are you comfortable with it, all of you? All of
Yes,
you?
Raj.
Okay, so now let me show you an example of the code. In the same code, you have so many examples, but I want you to refer this one. Okay, simple and very effective. In this file, what I did, now AMI I need it because it's region specific. Here you have multiple resources. Okay. So now the question is, you see that how do you declare variable? So you have a variable block, name of the variable, which type, and the values default, which is set here. Here also there's one more variable. This is number, by the way. Okay. This is a string. And the question is, okay, we declare the variable, but how do we use it in the program? So if you read this here it is. So I think it's very clear how to declare variables, how to declare values, and then how do we use it. That is also very clear. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So now here this is the number. This is the string. I want to show you. This is the list. List, we have only one component, one element. It can be comma and more element. And this is a map. Here we have a key and value format, only one. It can be more also. And here this is the bool. If you notice little bit carefully, there is no values for it. So if the values are not set, what will happen? Terraform will prompt it for the values. So now here if you see var dot, there's one variable, second variable, third variable, fourth variable, fifth variable. So this is the code which can be, this is the variable code, consolidated code, all different types of variable. Here you have a number, here you have a string, here you have a list, here you have map and bool somewhere here. Are you finding any difficulties, all of you?
Hmm.
Okay, so how many resources will be created? There's one resources I'm creating here because one, and it will be set one. So count is arguments is if you set count is equal to 4, then this whole resources will run 4 times. Okay, so likewise. So there's one resources, two resources. Sorry, I'm counting wrong. There's one resources will be created, second resources, third resources, and if I say yes, then fourth resources, four resources. Let's check it out. Start Terraform
Hmm.
plan. So this is a dry run. I'm not creating four resources, but dry run. See, this is the bool value. If I pass true, then it will be 4, else 3. Let's check it out. See here, 4 resources will be added. Now, if I do one more plan and this time make it false, that means last one will not run. I'll show you how. See here, 3 resources. So now, if what is happening in this case, here if you see that here is a ternary operator. Okay, so that means if var dot create vm, if they're set to value with a true, then count is equal to 1, and if it is set false, the count is equal to 0. So that when the count is equal to 0, though you have specified the resources, it will not create it. So if it is 1, it will create a 1 time. It is a 2, it will create a 2 times likewise. Got it, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah, Raj.
Okay, now next thing is how to set the conditioning. See, any language you learn, you have to set the conditioning. How do we do that? So in this code itself, you have a conditioning actually. Here, this is the, if this variable is true, ternary operator 1, else 0. So this is the one of the way conditional operators. But you know what? This is the looping also. So if you set count is equal to 4, then it will loop 4 times. Okay, so I want to show you some reference, good reference which I created, and few more examples are there. So if you search for Terraform conditioning, conditioning and a DevOps school, and here. So here you find two ways in which you can set up a condition. Method one, this is a ternary operator. I showed you this example already. This is the one, ternary operator. So here example is this one I showed you. And the second one is a depends on. Depends on is like you have to use between the two resources. That means one resources will be depends on second resources. So for example, if you see there's a variable, there's one resources, and there is a, we are creating a bucket S3 bucket here. So here it's saying, hey, this resources depends on the above resources, which is here. So depends on this one dot example, which is this one. So that means whenever S3 is being created, it has to be first create a AWS instance and then you fall back. So depends on is one argument, which you call it a meta argument. Count is also meta arguments. Okay, so see there is a two types argument. One is a resource specific argument. For example, AMI is a resource only. These arguments you will find only for this one. But for example, count depends on. These are the global argument. You will find for every resources, irrespective of what providers are using. So this way. Now there's one more thing, looping. So is you won't find a loop like while and for. Little different way you loop in the SCL. How do we do that? So count is the one which you know that I showed you. This is the one of the method. But one more has been recently becoming popular, and that one, this one, for each. So here this is the key value. So this time it will run two times because two dictionary you have it. So this is also one popular ways you have it. See here, this is the, look at this example, real-time example. Here you have a provider GitHub. That means this we are creating a repo, Git repo, and you want to create a three repos. What you did, you created one map variable, and the repo one is named with this one, and this one. So that means how do we create the three resources? So you have option number one, you declare three times the resources, or use that one map variable and then loop each, and then this resources will create three times. So here you see var dot repo name, which is this one, and here name of the repository should be each dot value. So each dot value means first time it will be this one, second time this one, third time this one. So each dot key, each dot value is a part of for each, and then this you are hard coding it. So yeah, count is a one of the ways to use the looping, but for each also there's no as such for and while is not found. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so now after knowing all this thing, you need to know few more things which is important. What are those? So now that is, you need to know one very important concept which is called provisioner. Earlier we had a many provisioner. There's spelling mistake by the way. This is the right one. Okay, so earlier we had a many provisioners, but now we have a limited to three. Okay, file, remote exec, and local exec. Now the question is, first question is what is provisioner? Then second question is like what are the file provisioner, what are the remote provisioner, remote exec provisioner, and what are the local exec provisioner. So understand that. First thing, so provisioner is a way to provision the resources. Yes. I set resources. In this code, if you look at this here, there is one resources here. But here we cannot use all the resources. Let's go to another one. Uh, let's go, so let's say EC2 instance. Okay, so you're creating one instance which is resources, and you want to do some configuration. Some configuration means you want to log into EC2 instance which is created here and run some command or some script. So how do we do that? So for that we use provisioner. So these are the three provisioners we have it. Okay, so I'll just draw a picture, you'll have a better understanding. So understand this way. This is your laptop, okay, and this is your cloud. And here you decided you want to create resources. So understand this way, and this is a Terraform. Okay, so now Terraform is saying to AWS, hey AWS, create this VM. Understand that. But now the question is, you want to do certain things inside a VM. AWS will not do that, because AWS can do only what the AWS resources are. So if you want to do something inside a VM, so for that what to do? So that is where the provisioner is coming into the picture. So when you say file provisioner is used to, once the resource is created, after the resource is created, you can copy files and folder inside these resources. Okay, only after. Local exec will do what? After this resource is created, run some command and script in your host machine, this place. And remote exec will do opposite. It will, after the resource is created, run some command and script in this resource which you created. So this is the concept of provisioner. Did you understand that, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to show you an example for it. So here, Terraform provisioner DevOps school. One example is sufficient. And here, these are the three types. Earlier we had a many other, but now we have a three types of provisioner. I discussed about it. Now I want to show you an example for it. So let me copy this whole code, and this I'm putting up in this place. Okay, so understand this. Here what you are doing, you are comfortable, this you are creating one instance, opening block and then closing block. So this is a whole one code. Okay, inside that this is creating one instance, but after that you want to do something more. What do you want to do? So you want to Terraform to login. So remember this image, this Terraform, it can be you manually or Terraform, any one of these. So Terraform to login. So how they will log in? So connection block is the one which will help you to log in. So here you see connection, because it's a 12, so SSH username of 12, and keys you are giving in the current location. That means this directory, you will have a key, this one, and you are logged into self.public IP. That means whatever the machines will be created for that public IP address. So this way it will, Terraform will log in. But after login, what do you want to do? So this is the provisioner, which is file. So you are copying the file, one file from your host machine. That means laptop to the VM inside the temp folder. Here, local provisioners will run some commands or script in your host machine, local. And the remote provisioners will log in using the connections and run these commands inside the VM. So for a remote exec and for file, you need a connections, but for local exec, you don't need a connections. So this is the one example for the provisioner. So local exec and remote exec, literally you can do anything, any commands or script you can run, it will work fine. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes, right. But the last one, right? The provisioner file source is equal to terraform.ts backup. So this file is coming from where to where?
This can be any file's name, no? Any file.
Okay.
Why
And
I
this,
put this file name, you know what? Because this file by default is created here. So I thought
okay.
instead of creating a new file, I let me copy that file only. I'm lazy, no?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Got it.
Okay, more questions? Okay, so this is a provisioner. That means if you want to configure the server, typically we don't use the provisioner too much. We use nowadays Ansible, Chef, Puppet, and all. Those are the things. Or maybe one more thing you can use. I don't know how many of you know user data. In AWS we call it a user data, and in Azure we call it a custom data. I'll show you that options. So typically you can use the user data, which is AWS feature itself, to try it out. So if you see, and if you go advanced section, many alternatives are there. You can use anything actually. Here it is. See here. Here you can upload any scripts or command, and that will be good. Okay, so that is something which we have. Now the last topic, which is very important, guys, and you have to focus on it. What is that? So now last topic is sorry, modules. What is modules? Guys, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. If you remember that here, one thing I said, there is one directory, and inside that you have a multiple TF code, and this all code, when you run, let's say plan, apply, or whatever it is, so Terraform behave as if it's a one code. Agree with me? I said already.
Yes.
So now let me ask you one thing. In the real time, see in this code, I'm have hardly using one or two resources here. Okay, but in real time you have a 200, 300 resources in real time. So now my questions to all of you is, you want to keep it in one file every resources or multiple file?
Multiple files will be better.
Multiple file. Why? Because ease of managing, correct? Now,
Yes. Compute disk.
yeah. Now the problem here what we have, so here you have a storage. Okay, understand this. So now you got the multiple file, multiple Terraform code created. But you know what, guys? I told you there is a drawbacks here. One drawbacks is, like, let's say you want to only create a compute, or only BPC, or only storage. So what will happen? You cannot run it, because remember that all the codes you run, it will create everything. So what do you do? So that is where that we have to convert into the modules. So modules is like a dividing your large code into smaller logical, you know, code base, so you can run it independently, separately. So what is a module? So modules is a directory. Yeah, module is a directory, and directory have a Terraform code. Then you'll say, Rajesh, if that is the definition, then this is also a module. The one which I created here, this is also module because it's a directory, and inside that you have a Terraform code. Here is a code. So yes, that is true. This is the module itself. That means every project in Terraform is a root module. Yeah, what is that? Root module. And then inside that you can have a child module. So main root module have the main.tf, file name can be anything, but in practice we keep the name main.module. And here there's one more directory which is called aws. Inside that main.tf, again vpc module is a directory, and then again main.tf. You can have a more also xyz also tf, that is up to you. So but in this case this is a root module, and this is the aws module, this is the vpc module. Aws and vpc directory is a part of the root module, and this you can call it here module aws. I'll give you the block, it's not right one, just to explain it to you. Vpc, let's say if you don't want to run the vpc, don't specify vpc. Are you understanding what is a module then?
Yeah.
So I'm going to create a module. Let me do that. So here, let me, mm, this is the one, I'm creating one module. Name of the module, you can keep it XYZ, and one more directory, MNP, two module. I'm copying this code here and here. So two resources I'm creating, and now main.tf here it has to be created. Now main.tf, I'm going to call both the modules. How do we call it? Just copy paste. I want to do that. So Terraform modules DevOps, and here copy this module one. This is the anything name one. Name modules, you can give it whatever you want it. Typically logical name you should give it. And directory has to be MNP XYZ. MNP and XYG. That means quickly I created two modules, dummy one, and then I'm calling it. See that structure? So here there's a MNP module, there's a XYZ, there's a root module calling the children module. Simple. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes. And we don't have to
So let
give the file name, right? aws.tf. We don't have to provide the
no,
file name
not
after the.
directly.
Okay.
Okay, so let me test this module where it's working. So in order to test the module, you have to run init one more time. So Terraform plan
So
and
does
see
this
here.
work like function kind of?
Uh, it is it's see, I'll tell you, very good question actually. So in Terraform, custom function is not available. Okay, so built-in functions are there. That means whatever the functions you have in the Golang, you can use in the code also. But this you can consider is like organizing your code, large code, to the smaller one, so you can manage it effectively and run it whichever you want it. So you can say
Okay,
it's just a techniques to organize your code.
okay, yeah.
So here you see I run this plan, it says module not installed. Why? Because when you write a module you have to run init once. So see MNP and XYZ got initialized. Now if I do the plan, two resources are there. Remember, each module I'm creating one resources. So if you look at it a little carefully, this is a module name 2 resources, and this is a module name 1 resources. Done. So this is the module. Okay, now the last thing which I want to tell you, which is the most important one, and that will be, mind blowing for all of you. See, after learning Terraform, if I tell you, once you have learned that, you troubleshoot, you write some program, you get frustrated, all this thing you get understanding of it. And after that, if I tell you, you know what, all the code has been written already. Then, so you yes, see here, you don't have to write any code because all the code has been written, most of this. So then you'll ask why we learn this Terraform. So we learn this Terraform so we can use those codes, change it based on needs, troubleshoot, debug, and then fix it. Okay, so where these codes are there. So you know what? This is your custom module. MNP is a custom module. XYZ name1 and name2 is a custom module. But you know what? Community have written a hell lot of modules, and the numbers in a thousands. Let me show you. Terraform and modules. Enter. And here, just go to the second one. Here, browse modules. Remember that 4,000 providers are there, and this is that one dedicated locations where you have thousands of module, and you see how many modules you have it. 16,400 and plus every day we are adding new one. So most of the code which you are looking for, that let's say you want to do something on AWS or Azure, Google Cloud or anything else, those modules you'll find already developed actually, either by the company or the community. Not only 16,000 on the Google, GitHub, you will find thousands of different modules which has not been uploaded here, but still you will find it exist. So how do we use it? So this module is nothing but the same code. Let me show you. So this is the one module which has been written by AWS. This will create a VPC, subnets, route table, NAT gateway, and everything. So if you want to see, you have not spent so much time, and this code you have it. You want to check this code. You should check this code here, and see that this is the module, and you see the main.tf, output.tf, variables.tf. This is the one module. Okay, and then there's some documentations also given to use it, and so many other stuff also. How do we use it and all kind of things, number of download stats and all, and some tabs like input output dependency and all. 80 resources it is supporting right now. So how do we use it? Nothing great, just copy this whole things, put it in your code. So I have a two custom module, name 1 and name 2. This is the VPC module. The difference you see here, that whenever you have a community module which you are downloading from the internet, will have a something like that. But if you have your own module, you will have a relative path dot. Automatically it will download from the internet. Now because I am in a AP South 1, so here you have to change this pages 1 ABC. So this is A, this is B, this is C. This is the thing. NAT gateway is taking more than 10 minutes, so I'll just make it false. And it's a costly also. VPN gateway also is costly and taking more time, so I'll create it. Now this will create VPC, subnet, route gateway, internet gateway, and some security groups and all. That's all. These are the some tags. So you see that I have not even written single line of the code. I just got the code from someone else. And you see here, let me init. Because you install the new module, you have to init. You see it's downloading the module. Look at the last line, downloaded. And now if you see the plan, remember the two modules which is creating a two resources. This is the one I showed you. And look at this 22 resources will be created by this one. I have not written even single line of a code. And you can review what will be created. Are you understanding the power of Terraform, all of you?
Yeah, Rajesh.
So if you want to, delete all these resources at a time, do we have to use any command destroy?
Just destroy. Automatically
Okay.
it will read all the state file. Remember, state file is the answer. Look at the diagram one more time.
Okay.
I lost it. I think. State file, remember this is where the response is stored. So when you say destroy, it read your TF file and state file, mismatch anything and then destroy everything.
So Terraform is, provisioning the, servers and everything, right? But so after servers are provisioned, that's when Ansible comes in picture to install any software
Yes,
or anything.
very good. You are getting the flow now. So you create an infrastructure using Terraform and configure the infrastructure using Ansible. That is good thing. Now let's say you created an infrastructure already, but now you want to change the infrastructure. So you have a two way. Either you destroy and create using Terraform, that's not good. You want to update it, for that you have to use Ansible.
So do
Got
we
it?
create pipeline again? Like, how do we achieve like automate, like, once cloud server is enabled, I mean, created, immediately go install these softwares in there. Like, is there any kind of pipeline in between, or do we have to write some kind of script saying that,
So
after
this
the,
all codes, this all codes once you create it and you push to the GitHub, then pipeline can be created using Jenkins. So Jenkins is
oh,
a one topic which I need to teach you. I have not covered Jenkins so far, right?
Not yet.
Jenkins did we cover?
No, no,
it,
no, not yet.
So Terraform today, tomorrow I'll teach you Kubernetes, and then next week Jenkins, and followed by data.
So how this big picture will come look like, Raj? So from Terraform, we'll create the instances, and then that goes to the Ansible, and that will create the installables. And then we have the Packer, and then we have no different things. How
Yeah.
this
So,
enter an artifactory?
so, so uh, first thing what you have to do, just first thing what you have to do, uh, see, first thing you have to create a AMI. Okay, AMI using Packer. Okay,
mhm.
that how to create, you know that. AMIs will be stored at AWS. Okay. Then second thing what you do is create infrastructure. Let's say when I say infrastructure means you are creating dev environment or queue environment or staging environment or prod environment. You create this infrastructure for testing or whatever it is using what? Terraform. Now, once you create the infrastructure, let's say prod, you cannot destroy that, correct? See, probably dev you can destroy, you can do that. That's not a problem. but staging and production, if it is a VM, you cannot destroy that. So what do you do in this case? Configure. Config servers using what? Ansible.
Absolutely.
So this is the flow. Now you must remember that when you create infrastructure using Terraform, you have to use the same AMI which you have used in Packer, using AMI from Packer. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the flow it should be. Now all this thing has to be linked with certain scheduling tools which we have in Jenkins.
Okay.
Understood the relationship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
And everything you have to write a code. This is a code, this is the code, this is the code. Everywhere is a code. Okay, more questions, guys?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@debugschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.